Northwestern's coming. But when you're a freshman, and I do apologize for not remembering his name and trying to pull some things up. The Northwestern linebacker, who was, I'm sure he's a good football player. But gosh, 9 tackles, a couple sacks, pick 6, but made him look like he was doing Jim Stewart for something. I mean, there just didn't seem to be any pride as to what I saw was going on. When you have your best 5 guys up front, your best 5 guys are supposed to dictate what's going to happen. And as Tom said, he's absolutely right. They had chances to be back in that game. And they did have some key things. And Gino Lewis, who had been clutch, I think, all season, and even in Rutgers game, he dropped a very key pass for a touchdown that I think may have changed the momentum of the game. I think everybody was talking about that. But if you looked at what Penn State tried to do, Penn State even tried to, I'm not going to name anybody, but our guards, that's absolutely destroyed. I saw them try to make some switches, put some other folks in, and it got worse. So I was very, very, very disappointed in our starting 5. Starting 5 has got to come out there. You've got to take ownership of some things. If nothing else is right. So, to be honest with you, when it was that 4th and 1.5, I think one of the issues is, again, I don't care really who would have been at running back. The way we got manhandled in the middle, I mean, even Zwidak, we got thrown for a loss, and one time he hardly even got out of the backfield. And actually, he got thrown for a 1.5-yard loss, and it should have been a 4-yard loss. So we started to look at what happened up front. I mean, these young men, and I know it's early, but those young men, especially, I know Donovan Smith on the edge, I guess when you're young in the middle, where I see it now, when you're young on the edge, and you got a center, and you got experienced guards, you might be able to do some things with some people on the edge. But, Donovan, who is an outstanding tackle, he probably didn't have the best game in the world either, but it's a lot harder to enter that line if you don't have experienced people in the middle. So I think that was part of the case. I was also very concerned about how we responded to some of the adversity. And Kyle, you might have a different perspective on it, although I guess maybe things are different than I remember them. And quite so, as I saw Hackenberg being, get it to him from Belton. I think people can say what they want about Belton, because I know that O'Brien pushed him and you were there back and forth. And my understanding is, it was a little difficult to work with, but Hackenberg has got to learn to take criticism as well. He's not playing well on top of it. So he wasn't able to take that, and then when you could read the lips of Belton, I mean, I don't think Belton said anything was out of line other than, really, you're a man. Come on, man, you supposed to be better. And guess what? He's right. And the way he responded and the way that we read Hackenberg wasn't too good. Hackenberg's got to learn, that you want to have a tough game, you are the man because you are the man, but much is expected. And it's not about whether you're right or not. You just not overreact. And I know apparently they said they pieced up or whatever, but you just can't do that on the sideline. You got to understand it's national TV, and you can't let other people see those bad emotions. So all those things together, I'm sure they've addressed it to this point. It does require some attention. I don't know what we're going to do. You can't change everything all in 1 week. That offensive line has got to come back. And it's got to know that with this bye week, according to the big house, it ain't going to be pretty here.
Well, I think it's going to be a difficult game here because, Northwestern's, struggling to survive. Michigan's going to struggle to survive, and the coach is obviously his job's on the line, and we'll see how they do this week. But with Rutgers, because Rutgers is a tough team, they played Penn State well. We're going to get a real gauge of what we're looking for, what we're going to be up against here by these guys sitting back on Saturday and watching the game. And it will be very interesting to see how they adapt and adjust for that. Penn State, I hope, takes advantage of this week to maybe reevaluate individually take a look inside yourself and see what are you contributing, what's your mindset coming into practice. Realizing everybody's in the same team, because I'll tell you, Steph and I, you and I both know how Joe would be if one of our quarterbacks would have responded as Hackenberg did when the guy's just obviously he's just trying to encourage him along here. He expects more from his quarterback than to simply be reacting in that manner. You're supposed to be leading a team. It's your responsibility to be positive, upbeat. You may not even like what the guy says, but you know what? The sake of the team is in your hands here, and you have to you just have to rise up to that occasion and not take things personal. And I think there's a little bit of form of maturity here that's showing, or where we need to work on some of that in his life. But again, he's still a young guy. He's 19 years old.
Right. So that's exactly where I go with that. And I understand that. And what I'm hoping is those things that happen. One thing about a loss is, regardless of who is true, there's a lot to be taken from the loss. I think what you were saying was, Skip, had we come back and we won that game, this may actually prepare us to win the game that people don't believe we're supposed to win. Because sometimes when you take a look at it, I think Joe had a saying that was, you're never as good as you think you are when you win, and you're never as bad as you are as you think you are in the loss. So if I were to take some things from it, and one thing I want to say about Hackenberg is, God, what a tough guy. That's one thing I like about him. The lineman can never say the guy that put it. Hackenberg just went out there and he struck somebody and put him out of the game. And the guy was, I'm not saying I was glad to see the kid get hurt. I didn't know Hackenberg had that in him to go take that and, say, hey, man, let's try to get something going. So what I like about him is he was trying to make something happen despite, and again, I want to make sure, just in case anybody listens to this video, they listen to this audio, recorded and saying, oh, I'm glad someone back. No, what I'm saying is, it's just seeing him man up and seeing him try to make something happen. As he did, he had that in him. And I think too many people are talking about being that early with him.
Right.
I think that's what happens with the media, man. He's had those games, somebody that's good. They're still developing, but until we can get that line straight, no one, whether it's Swinack or Belton, the other running back, we have to get our middle straight. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We got our backsides into us.
Yeah, they got waxed. There's no other way to put it. I still remember, Blair would break a play, and he shared that with us last year, and Joe would say, "You're just not that good. You're not that good." And he would make a great play.
Right.
And Blair, but see, he's controlling Blair, because he'd say, "Don't be reading that newspaper. Don't be listening to that Phil Gross on the radio and stuff."
Right.
Because
that's pretty good, man.
we all got our little invitations to Joe, but that's what he'd be doing, because unfortunately, hey, you can't help it. You're out there, people writing about you, they're talking about you on the radio or on TV. It's real easy for these guys to get heads that are pretty big. And, Joe didn't have any problem being able to quash that real quick and make you realize it's not about you. It's just
Right.
not about you. And so, yeah, that happened. But, I'll tell you, when you look at the numbers from the game, though, it looks like it's a pretty evenly balanced game here, except for the conversions. Third downs, we were 3 of 17, and Northwestern 7 of 17. And fourth down conversions,
God.
3
of 17.
Yeah, it was. That's just, it's bad. We were 1 for on fourth down conversions. We went for it 4 times, got 1 of them. Northwestern was 0 for 2. Northwestern turned it over once, we turned it over twice, but time of possession evenly balanced at Northwestern with 30 minutes and 23 seconds, Penn State at 29-37. It looked like it on paper. It's a pretty well-balanced game here, except for third downs. We're just not converting. We're not getting whatever yards we need. We're not even completing the passes that we have to on the downs that really count. And that hit.
No, I agree. I don't know, Kyle. Kyle, what I was going to ask you. To me, I don't know what it is. For some reason, I thought our defensive ends, especially, would have taken the game over. As I sit here and I look at the guys that we have, CJ, Dion, I mean, they played solid games, but there's still between them 1.5 sacks this game. You know, I thought again. My thing is, Western that good? We're not getting enough pressure in front of me. I thought our defensive end would be totally dominant at this point.
Well, it'd be the whole line. The line has to step up together. They got to flow together. If one of them wants to get all the sacks, it's not gonna go well with the whole line. Right. That was the big thing. They wanted to get sacks. The sacks means being drafted. Well, at the game, they talked about it, and they're like, I got my, I guess that's how generations going. It's just, they look at that.
I'm not hearing anything on
where they go, and I mean, it's
now
almost different. I mean, the people look at things different ways, and that's the way they look at it.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with you too. Although, I mean, listen, in fact, Kirkendall called me real good and I called back. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that people didn't look at it, especially the way we did things then. I'm sure it's very similar. So you got graded in the game. Listen, everybody, even all those other years ago, in the 80s, people looked at what their grades were. They understood their stats and everything else.
well, you can just turn it on now. And
But I guess in this particular situation, you didn't understand it just from the standpoint of just timely plays. And I just, what I would say is, all like you said, all the way across. What would it take to let people know? Now, certainly, like I said, when this started getting there, I think, well, actually,
is this working?
Especially when you're on the field and things don't get done. It's hard to tell. Sure.
Hey, I'm here, guys, and I just found out that on the radio, they were hearing you guys great, but they weren't hearing me. So, yeah, kind of wild there, but I think things are working now. So apologize out there, everybody. But I'll tell you what we are going to do is we're going to take a quick break right now and get all that part sorted out. Good thing they're hearing you. I think they're finally hearing us right now. You're listening to Lions Live, folks. We'll be right back here after these brief messages.
That's a typical question you might ask yourself in the morning. But get on one of the new super low 1200T motorcycles.
Yeah, I hear you guys fine now. Can you hear me okay?
And you might start asking yourself some questions that are anything but typical. Questions like, why parent build this car? Why not run down to the corner in Arizona?
I can hear them fine whenever you hit the red button there. I can hear them fine on this.
Yeah, 1200T combines the new Sportster with big touring features, a detachable windshield, comfortable all-day suspension, and lockable saddlebags. Every mile in its low slug saddle just makes you want to ride more miles. Check out the super low 1200T. See how far it makes your mind start to wander. Number one Cycle Center, Harley Davidson, 322, 6 miles east of State College. Call 1-866-450.
Yeah, I knew that, but that's what he was saying. Every time I press this, he would tell me he can't hear me. So that's why.
For years, people said it was crazy. They said it couldn't happen. And it did. Twice, people have won $10,000 for the Family Clothesline and Magnum Broadcast.
Take everything out of
Magnum Broadcast into the Family Clothesline, East College Avenue in downtown State College, Virginia. Once again, we have $10,000. Let's kick off July 14. And by now, you know what you need to do there. Stop by the Family Clothesline, East College Avenue in State College. Prior to each Penn State home game, on the day of the game, we'll draw one lucky person's name at random. If the opening kickoff of that day's Penn State game is returned for a touchdown by either team, that person will win $10,000. That's $10,000, 10,000 claims, 10,000 similarity, 10,000 10 precedents, 10,000 dig. Alright, you get the point.
And I double checked it last week. He wasn't on there. That's all I'm trying to do.
Just make sure you bring them back with that.
The people who actually subscribe to listening live online right now are getting it.
Yeah.
So sorry about that. Hey, everybody. I'm glad you're hearing it out there, but we're going to get this squared away here yet. So. How much time we got?
Subs, that is? Oh, math wins on me, Jared. I don't care about numbers. I just
1 minute. 40 seconds, Stefan.
How about these numbers, Bob?
So, when he's not talking,
Can you turn that down just a little bit so I can? What would you say, Stefan?
Actually, Mr. Pretty routine field goal to do.
Yeah. Okay.
But so if I leave it on, he really won't be able to hear it. If I leave him in too.
Yeah, that's not.
You can leave me on. I can hear it now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go here.
So we back now and how long? Hey friends, a pleasant good evening to you. You're back here at Lions Live on the only network built by the players for you, the fans. Big dude Stefan Davis, Kyle Bubbles. My name's Skip Rivalbiz here. We're not a podcast. We're not pre-recorded. However, we are the only network out there built by the players for you, the fans. There's no pundits here. There's no sports writers. There's no people who think they know about football, but you do have guys who actually played. And that's what makes us unique. We're really thankful here to be able to talk about Penn State football here. And I think we got our technical issues sorted out. The people listening out there live on the internet, they haven't heard anything but the show. But I guess the people here on AM radio were hearing Stefan and Kyle. They weren't hearing me, but that's okay because they're getting some great commentary from the guys out here. And I was just asking questions. So we're recapping Penn State football here from last week, going over some stats and some numbers. And Kyle, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about expanding upon what you touched on last week. When you noticed the difference when Hackenberg came to the line of scrimmage under Coach O'Brien and options and things he had under that system, what you maybe sense could be different from this year that you noticed just visibly from watching the game? Sure. So what I sense from under Coach O'Brien when you were there, he gave him a lot more opportunity to audible at the line of scrimmage. And again, we're just kind of speculating, folks, because, Kyle's on the defensive side of the ball, and but he did know what was happening and conversations were taking place last year. And I sense that, too, a little bit, that last year I noticed from this year to the next, I think Coach Franklin has a lot more scripted and maybe kind of has him throttled down in a sense, maybe a way to put it. And I think coming from the NFL where Coach O'Brien did, having quarterbacks who are able to have a lot more opportunity to read and adjust things, that may be the case. Again, we're just I wanted to just touch on that. And from a coaching perspective, Stefan, 20 years plus coaching yourself of football, when can a coach really decide when to open it up more for a quarterback and when wouldn't he?
This one. Wait, can you hear him? Okay. For the camera? I would ask him because I know it only comes in here like noise wise.
Find out how we can get some sound for this in the air.
Oh, sound for that. I also ask him because they only tell me about this one. I'm not too sure.
The people on the internet are not getting any sound right now.
Oh, now they are. They were before. See what I mean? But like I said, yeah. By this being that way, yeah. Turn it down.
No, go ahead and hit it so they can hear them.
Okay.
And when I talk,
Okay. All right. Okay. So we are.
now we need to have some for here.
I'll have to ask him because I don't know. Because usually we don't. It doesn't go there. I was real quick.
Okay, well, turn me on so that way you can ask him how we can get that.
Okay. Is it because your mic's on? Like there's you can't roll it that way. I mean, I can leave it off.
Do that and then turn that on. And then when I talk, hit that red button.
He said it wasn't. It's not going to register that way. Like I don't know. I don't know why.